Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. Hey, all right. Well, good morning, my friends. Hope everyone is having a glorious morning. Um, we have an interesting topic today. It's actually packed full of stuff. Again, I have my hat on in case anyone's wondering, because it is. I usually wear hats on the show, different types of hat, but this particular hat I'm wearing because it's actually a little chilly on this side of the house, and that is why you see me with this thing on my head. This is also a really cool hat that I got from a friend's company that she's involved in, and it's pretty cool. So if you're interested, let me know. I'll get you the link to get that. Um, okay, so today I wanted to go over this particular topic, and which is a really interesting one because it it really is such an important factor into being successful in life. I think that we tend to forget that those around us, especially those that are close to us, are really an important part of your future success, whether you see that or not. Some people will be in relationships. This is a story, a story. This is a show about relationships. Well, it is a story. I'll be telling stories. Um, it's a relationships with your partner, relationship, with the person that's the closest to you, um, and what that entails to move forward in your goals, and how easy it is, and the how that relationship is, how strong that relationship is, how supportive that relationship is. To that degree is going to be how successful you are in life. And this is something that sometimes I know um, couples don't discuss or don't get involved into. Yeah, they're not into what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do it on my own. And but there's this underlining um, energy that's kind of stripping away at the positivity of that goal, of trying to make that goal. And let's read number 8 here. So number 8 is be true and honest to your partner. Get them on your side. There are a few parts to this, so I'm going to break them down. Get them on your side and helping you achieve your success at the same time, help reach their goals too. You should never have to convince a partner or anyone to help you succeed. So, there's a couple of parts to this one, and it really has to do a little bit with the person that you're the closest to, the relationship. This one in particular has to do with your husband, your wife, your partner, um, and how they support your goals and how you support theirs, and how true and honest you are to them. Now, obviously, we're not discussing infidelity. We're not discussing those kinds of issues. That's a given. You know that that's not okay. This is more of the honest part. Is really, what is it? True and honest to your partner really has to do with how you communicate your actual true goals to your partner, and not just kind of and I've fallen into this trap, not just try to just do it in hopes that it happens, and you tell them when it happens, especially if it's a major goal, right? I mean, we all have our own personal goals that we kind of keep dear to our heart, and we execute actions to try to reach and get closer to those goals. But there are specific times in life, with a partner, that you have a goal that you've had a long time, and that you don't communicate what those goals are. And it may be like wanting to move to another state. It may be something pretty major that will affect the partner that you're with. It may be a career choice. It may be wanting to leave a job. And I've fallen into all of these traps. One throughout the years. I've been married for it's going to be 18 years in a few months. We've been together for 20 years, and that's a long time. It's a long time to be with one person and to try to achieve certain goals, and also try to help them achieve their goals. Now, it has to be a two-way street. All right, so we're going to go down a couple of things here. Let's go to the first section of this. Right, be true and honest to your partner. If you have a goal, if you have something that you really are trying to achieve, you need to sit down with them. If it's something that's major, that you know it's going to affect the family in any way, whether it's a job change, or you want to just leave a job, or maybe you want to go back to school, or maybe you want to move to a different state, maybe you want to have kids, or maybe you don't want to have kids, whatever the thing is. It may be something pretty serious that you need to get your partner on board. Hoping that your partner will get it eventually, or will eventually try to support you, is never the right thing to do. It's never a successful action. It's always going to become a problem down the line when that thing becomes the barrier to the relationship. Because if you're really working towards a goal, especially if it's something that's major, that's going to affect the partnership, or if you have kids, if it's going to affect them in any way, shape, or form, you have to be able to sit down with them and communicate to them exactly what your goals are. So you're on the same page. People talk about that cliche all the time, right? They talk about, we have to be on the same page. We must be on the same page. And that is, it's so understated, because it's so important to do that. And people will have the conversations of being on the same page, but it has to go deeper than that. It has to go someone sitting down next to you with a pad and a pen, and writing down exactly what the goals are. Okay, what is it that you want to do? Oh, okay. Let's write those down. So no reaction to it. If it's something that maybe you don't want, try not to react. Like, I want to move to Montana. Wait, what? What, are you insane? You crazy? That's insane. I'm not moving to Montana. And then you lose it goes down the toilet. What you want to do is, somebody says, I want to move to Montana. You go, oh, Montana. Okay. All right, well, let's write that down. Let's see, and we'll have a conversation about that. You know, now that's easier said than done, right? Sometimes, because the initial shock of wanting to move to Montana. Not that Montana is a bad place to go. I've been to Montana, actually, and it's beautiful, and have friends in Montana and family in Montana, and it's great. But I don't want to live in Montana, right? I don't want to move to Montana. So if somebody would tell me that Montana, I would look at it. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about that. Let's have a conversation about it. And this is the first step that you have to remember. Is, don't overreact when you're being honest with your partner, or when they're being honest with you on what their goals are. Try to just listen, and try to acknowledge, and then try to get more information, and then sit down and try to get the pros and cons, and some of the obvious things that you can look at and say, look, I can make more money there. I can have give your pros. Why do you want to do that? Is it because, it's got to be something that really is going to assist the family in the greatest way possible, right? It's not because, "Oh, I like the white sky, I like the big sky." No, it's got to be something a little bit more substantial, that's going to affect the family, right? Because the family unit is a dynamic in itself, and it affects it. You affect each other no matter what, with whatever you do. If one person is upset, or down tone, just constantly in the family, it's going to bring the whole family down, and it will actually affect the family's success. So it's your responsibility as the partner, if you see that, to try to help them come back up again, not yell at them because of the way they are, you know. And this is a mistake, mistakes that I've made, my wife has made, we've both made these mistakes, and we've learned through our studies, obviously, through a lot of different applications of tools and techniques, and communication, a tremendous amount of communication. Um, now, true communication, because if you guys can imagine, I'm a talker, right? Obviously, I talk pretty much for a living now. Um, this is going to be the challenging part, right? Because it's not just about talking, and it's about really communicating. It's about really listening. It's about really getting into uh, a conversation that's moving the family in the right direction, and not yelling. Yelling is not communication, right? Yelling is yelling. It's an aberrated thing, and it doesn't really, just because of the tone of your voice goes higher doesn't mean that the words coming out of your mouth make more sense, right? So that becomes a major factor for the first section of number 8, which is be true and honest to your partner. Say what you really feel. Sit down and say, listen, I'm unhappy with this current situation. And, it goes back to number one, right? Number one is, if you're unhappy with your current situation, change it. Something can be done about it. So it goes back to that, right? And then you bring it to this one and you say, listen, I'm really unhappy with the current state of where we're going and what our goals are. And, I've had this one goal, but I haven't really said it because I don't know what you're going to think about it. And I'm hoping that, we can discuss it, and somebody, and your partner should be like, okay, well, let's have it. Tell me what it is that you want to do. There are a couple of things that my wife wanted when we got together. She wanted to get her master's degree. That was like a major thing for her. She wanted to have children, and she wanted to have a house. So I she went to school. I worked full time. She worked, I think, part time, and just went to school full time. And she did it. She got her master's degree. We struggled a little bit. It was challenging, but we did it. We paid for our own wedding, which I know generally it's not like, and when you have the families involved, it's generally not like that. But um, we paid for our own wedding, which we had to pay back because we used credit cards and stuff for a few years. So that became stress. But she wanted to get her master's degree, and I knew that was important to her. So I did what I could, and I told her, yeah, go get it. Where do you want to? What do you want to do? Where do you want to work? What do you want? All these are my questions. Um, and she did. She got her master's degree many many years ago when we got together. Um, when we After we got married, actually, and we moved to Queens, Sunnyside, she got her master's degree, and she was very happy. And second thing, she wanted to have children. This was a major major part of what, of our lives, and we struggled for the first, let me see, 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we struggled for, well, I guess, 7 years um of trying to have kids. Finally we were like wondering, well, what's happening, because I'm Puerto Rican, so I know I can have like thousands of children if I really wanted to. That's the way we're built, right? We just walk by certain women, and it's very, very powerful and potent stuff. Um, but one of the issues were how she wasn't getting pregnant. So she went to the doctor, and she found out that she had a blockage on, I think it was a full blockage on one of the tubes and a partial on the other one. So that was one of the reasons why. So because of the invasiveness of the treatments that they have, that they offer to you or they suggest, we really surgery was one of them, which we did not want to do. Injections, hormonal injections, or whatever you call those, fraternity, for for wow, I can't say this word. The, yeah, the things that you inject yourself that get you pregnant. Let me get a drink of coffee. Maybe it'll come to me. For fertility. Good Lord. Good morning, everyone. Um, Fertility injections. And so this was the options that we had, and we were like, that's not really a good option. So my wife, being very industrious and sits down and tries to figure it out. Got on the computer and found a place down in Florida called Clear Passage, where they do this treatment through certain massages. I don't want to know where they massaged. Just kidding. But they massaged certain areas of her body, and it helps people. They have a very, very great success record. So she went down there, of course, not covered by insurance, so it cost a lot of money. But she went down to Florida for, I think it was a week, possibly. And while she was down there, she got the treatments every day. She stayed in a hotel. And a year later, we were we were expecting a year later. After that, everything got unclogged, and it was incredible. And I found out on Father's Day, believe it or not. I was coming home. I was shooting films that one particular year, which was 2010, and 10 years ago. um, almost 10 years. No, yeah, 10 years ago. Yeah, we're at 20. Yeah, 10 years ago. But how's that? My daughter, oh yeah, because my daughter was born in 2011, so she's gonna be 9 years old next month. So, um, no, she's gonna be 10 years old. Oh my gosh, I'm so out of it. I'm so sorry. She's gonna be 9. So she went to the doctor, and they said, she's fine. She was, and I was coming home from a film shoot that I was doing, and I was exhausted. It was a very early rise, and a lot of running around on this one particular thing. And I remember I came out of the shower and I just laid down in bed. I was like exhausted, and she came to me with a little gift wrap, little box gift wrap, and I thought, well, my birthday is coming up, but it was the following month because this was on in June, where Father's Day is, on the Father's Day of 2010, whatever that day was. And so she came to me with the little box. So I was like, oh, I was like, well, it's not my birthday. I was like, what is this? And she's like, open it. So I was like, all right. So I go and I open it, and it's a pregnancy test, and it says, pregnant, or I had the plus thing. No, it said the word actually pregnant. And I remember looking at it, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I put my glasses on, and I'm like, what? And I was just overtaken. I was just the joy, and started crying, and we were just, it was such a thrill for us because we struggled so much with that. And of course, 9 months later, we had our beautiful daughter, Brianna, and now we have our son, Ben, who's a handful, but I love him. He is a character. What a character that dude is. Um, and we are blessed. So we got number two of her goals. The third one is the house. She wants a house, a really nice house. And so that's something that we're getting next. That is our next goal. We're actually have some pretty big plans coming up that we'll announce probably not now, probably, but later. But we got some really great stuff happening on getting the house. The that's another thing. Early on, she wanted these things early on, especially the house and stuff. And I just remember thinking, you don't buy a house, right? You rent, you get a mortgage, the house, right? The bank lends you money so you can get this house. So the house is not really technically yours, right? The house still belongs to the bank. It still belongs to this loan that you're responsible for like 30 years sometimes, right? The 30-year mortgages. I mean, I'm a real estate agent. I know the commitment level. This is a huge commitment, and it ties you down to one location, and you're stuck there. Now, if you're the kind of person that enjoys being stuck in one person and you just want stability, you want a job, you want to come home by 6 o'clock, you want to be home, you want to have dinner by 7, you want to watch TV till you go to sleep, wait, and you want to go on vacation for 2 weeks, and you have that's going to bring you joy, then man, God bless you. Awesome. But I never wanted to be tied down to one thing. I just really wanted to be able to um have a little bit more freedom. The financial commitment wasn't really the thing. It wasn't the thing. The mortgage payments will be just about as much as the rent, right? And people say, "Why are you renting? You don't own anything." Well, because I can get up and go, and you can't. That's the benefit. Also, if things break here, I don't have to fix it. I don't have to pay the money for that. I just call the landlord. Landlord fixes it. Renting is really a lot of positive things to renting. People knock it because they think you want to own something. What you want to own is property, right? You do want to own property, but you don't want to necessarily own where you live, because you can actually, it's also, if you work from home, you can also write it off. Um, you know, so when you make a purchase, it has to be something that's going to provide you more. It has to be a not a liability, and that's what a house is. It's a liability, right? So some people may argue that, which is fine, but that's just one of the things that happened early on. So this is why we waited so long for the home, and now we're in a position where we're very, very close to being able to buy a home. Where it is, it's going to be the next conversation that we're having, which we pretty already had the conversation. We already know, but we haven't announced it yet. So so that's that part of it. All right, so let's go to this section because I'm rambling a little bit too much on one thing, which I can do a whole show on that part. So it says get them on your side, helping you succeed. At the same time, help them, right? And you should never have to convince a partner to help you. So that's another thing. Like if you have a goal and you're trying to tell them, please help me with this, and they're like, I don't think you should do it, then you have a challenge. You have a challenge because you're being suppressed, your goals are being squashed. You need to make some tough choices, and sometimes those choices are life changing in themselves. And you can't, if there are children involved, it becomes even tougher, right? Because now you're looking at, handling the problem or disconnecting from the problem, right? And when you're talking about divorce and you're talking about separations, that's just a hard thing to do. I really encourage people to try to work it out, to try to sit down and see what your goals are, see what it is that you want. We've gotten to really dark places in our lives, because of that, because I didn't communicate what I really wanted, and because I didn't feel validated. And we just got into a really bad place, and luckily we're out of it. We came through, we communicated again through our studies and through our religion. We were able to apply certain tools and to really come to an agreement on what it is we each want and how aligned they really are. Our goals were really aligned. We just didn't really know that they were aligned, but they're aligned differently. I'm an artist, I'm a creative person. Now she's an amazing artist. She's also doing some great work and has a company that she's building right now. So we're sort of like as soon as I started getting on the same page with her and helping her, this art came up. Now we're more on the same page than we've ever been, and that's a blessing in itself. So that's that section here. And then the final section is, well, that is a silent. You should never convince them. So it all kind of ties in. You help them, they help you, but you have to sit down and you have to have that conversation. You have to get the pen and paper and say, what is it that you want? Okay, write all these things down. And it could be whatever it is. I want a mansion. I want a mansion and a chauffeur to drive me around. Okay, great. Cool. And then you have to reverse engineer. Well, are we working hard enough to get those things? Are we putting in enough time to get those things, right? Because people want that, right? People want, oh, I want success. I want to be able to rule the world. I'm amazing. I'm awesome, but I'm gonna sleep, and I'm gonna not work today. I'm gonna just take the day off. And there are no days off. If you want something that grand, right? Now, if you want to just find a really good job that pays you well and that you're happy with, then work towards that. But you get you write down the goals, and then you reverse engineer what it is to get those goals. You figure out what are the steps you need to take to get there, right? And that's where the work comes in. That's where the challenge comes in, right? So this is a very important part because it really does affect your whole. It is such an important dynamic. If you have children, it becomes even tremendous dynamic. If you're a good person and you want to be there for your children, right? Some people just leave their children. I don't know how anybody does that, but some people just leave it. And I totally understand divorce. I'm not talking about divorce. And there are people who've divorced and they're completely into their family's lives, and that's a different story. Denzel Washington was talking about that a little bit. Like his parents separated, but he had his father in his life all the time, and that's what I'm going to be. I'm always going to be in my children's life, no matter what happens in my life. But that becomes such an important factor of where you're building your future. what foundation are you building it on? And if it's built on a foundation that's shaky because you're not sure, or you have doubt on it, then the whole thing that's holding it up is going to collapse at some point, because it's just so much that you can hold in on what it is that you want, and if you don't feel validated, it's just really painful. So, all right, folks. Well, that's 7 a.m. for today. I hope you got some value out of that. I would love to hear from you. You can always email me. My email is right here on the screen. It is John Henry Soto at protonmail.com. That's PROTONMAIL.com. All right. Thank you very much. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we'll be doing number 9, which is, I'll give you a preview about time. Oh, yes. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about finding the time to do things. I love this one because I do a whole talk about this, which is really, it's fun for me to show people how much time we do have, and how much time we lose, and it's really fascinating. So let's meet tomorrow right here at 7 a.m. and we'll go over that. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. As always, have a wonderful day. Make it great. Go out there, kick some butt, have fun, help others, help yourself, have a nice cup of coffee, and enjoy the day. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. God bless you all. And as always, peace.